Welcome to this week's edition of Club Zone. We're going to be looking at some of the latest news and opportunities for clubs, including what lockdown means for us and to make you aware of some of the attractive funding opportunities. And then a little bit later on, I'm going to be covering some of the upcoming events that may well be of interest to you and your members. So we're back in lockdown in England, which means almost all organised activities is prevented from taking place. And we're essentially in lockdown across the rest of the UK also. Challenging times, I'm sure, but we have to help to control the spread of this virus. Now, our latest guidance on what is and is not possible in England is available as ever in our frequently asked questions document, which now has a new home in the COVID hub on our website. And we're going to be updating this regularly, so do keep an eye on it. And do check out the home country websites for guidance for boating activities there as well. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. We did receive some good news last week when the Chancellor announced that closed businesses within the retail, hospitality and leisure sectors may be eligible for a one-off cash grant worth up to £9,000. Now, the grants are allocated on a per property basis to support businesses and clubs to protect jobs through the latest COVID-19 restrictions. The amount of funding that you can receive is dependent on the property's rateable value, and it can vary between £4,000 and £9,000. Now, the devolved nations are receiving a lump sum as part of this package, and it's going to be up to them to administer that funding. Now, I know that not all clubs have rateable properties, so may at first glance not be eligible. However, I think it's useful to know that the discretionary fund is being set up, so this could be really useful for clubs that do not pay rates. So the action really is to make contact with your local authority to understand how to apply for the grants in your local area. Okay, so I said earlier that we'd have a look at some upcoming events and what they mean for your club. And this is always a busy time of year for conferences, you all know that, and COVID is not stopping anything. So, although, as you've probably guessed, most of these events are going to be virtual rather than face-to-face for obvious reasons. Now, the first one to flag up is the RYA Dinghy Show, taking place on the last weekend of February 27th to 28th. It's a fantastic opportunity to kickstart yours and your members' sailing season. It's virtual, it's free, it's got a fantastic range of speakers and exhibitors, and we're going to be telling you more about the lineup in the coming weeks. I've had a little look though, and it's looking fantastic. But for now, I'd urge you to tell your members about this event, as we think it's going to really help them get ready to get back on the water as soon as we're able to. Free registration is open now. It's not just about small boats. We know that many clubs have yacht and motor cruising members who'll be keen to hear about the RYA Cruising Conference. So this online event is taking place on the 21st of March and promises to cover the issues that matter most to boaters, cruisers, including post-Brexit guidance, training insights, real-life stories from fellow cruisers, as well as the latest developments in safety and more. So looking to be a really good event. There's going to be opportunities for the audience to get involved and a chance to ask your questions to the experts. Now, places at this conference are free for RYA members and £10 per person for non-members. For me, both the Dinghy Show and the Cruising Conference will really help to keep club members engaged over these coming months, which is going to be essential as we look to bounce back in 2021. So looking at a different angle now, to support you and your club development planning, we've got a couple of key events coming up. We know 2020 has been a tough year for all clubs, that's for sure, but that sailability activity has been particularly hard hit. And so the Sailability Conference will be a chance to regroup, restart and rebuild. So it's a virtual event again. It's taking place on Saturday, the 13th of February, and it's a real opportunity for the community, sailability community, to come together, to motivate each other and to learn together. And, you know, I've had a look at this and I think it's going to be a great event for anybody interested in boating activity for disabled people, whether you're formally part of the Sailability programme or not. And it's free. I've had a look at the agenda and there's a great range of sessions, including keynote speakers from Baroness Tanny Gray-Thompson, which is going to be worth a view. In addition to that Sailability Conference, over the next few months, we're going to be running webinars and forums on some key hot topics for all clubs, including membership renewals and satisfaction, planning for the future, and managing and recruiting volunteers, and much, much more. So watch this space. Details about these will be available here in the coming weeks and of course on our social channels. Okay, so the third area to look at in terms of events over the coming months is going to be for the many instructors and coaches in our clubs. We've got two fantastic events coming up. So for the many instructors and coaches in our clubs, we've got two fantastic events coming up. So first up, it's the RYA Training Conference. Now, this is open to instructors from the powerboat, personal watercraft, inland waterways and sail and motor cruising schemes. And it's open to senior instructors, coaches and trainers and training centre principals only, so not instructors, across the other RYA training schemes, so dinghy and windsurf. It's a free online conference. It's going to be hosted over the weekend of the 30th to the 31st of January. And, you know, delegates can expect the usual scheme updates from the chief instructors and the broader advice from the RYA team. But having had a look at the agenda, there's a couple of real highlights for me in the form of two excellent guest speakers, Liz Rushall and Alan Olive. So Liz is someone some of you might have come across already. She's presented at a couple of different RYA conferences over the last couple of years and is the author of the British Marine Futures Report. She's going to give a bit of an insight into current participation and consumer trends. And what does this mean for the training sector? So looking forward to that one. And then Alan Olive, who presented at last year's training conference as well and was amazing, he's the former RYA Coach Development Manager and a leading consultant for elite sport and businesses. And he's going to be exploring how we can achieve our kind of human need for connection, to build partnerships and to engage with our teams, even in lockdown, in the talk that he's providing. So really looking forward to those. So in addition to that event, we've also got our instructor training day. Now this one is open to instructors and senior instructors, coaches and trainers from the dinghy, windsurf, power, PW and IW schemes, effectively the small boat schemes. Again, it's free and it'll be taking place on the 13th of March. More details to follow, but you can kind of expect more workshops to help your team of instructors and coaches get ready for the season ahead, updates from your regional development officer. And then off the back of these, of course, COVID permitting, we're planning a series of on the water face-to-face events to get you and the team ready for 2021. Okay, that's all from me today. Next week, we're going to kick off again with the latest headlines for your club, and then we're going to be exploring how clubs can maximise the number of membership renewals, a super important topic at this time of year, especially in 2021. Thanks all. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and do stay safe.